how all this started sounds really like a cliche. While I was growing up, it seemed everyone was playing an instrument, or at least doing something as an extracurricular activity. And I actually started with guzheng at 8, and later switched to the pipa when I entered the middle school, and followed by the rat afterwards. The reason why I changed the instruments was because under the setting of a Chinese orchestra, normally they only need one guzheng player, but a bunch of pipa or ram players will be needed, and I wanted to play with orchestras. Also because guzheng is so inconvenient to be carried around, and I really hated that as a child. Of course, the early years training on the previous instruments was very helpful when I changed to other instruments, as there are a lot of transferable skills gained during the process, like the ability to read notations or the flexibility of the fingers. Actually, I tried playing bass guitar with rock bands and played harp in the symphony orchestra when I was in the university. Then I almost stopped practicing the traditional instruments for several years. It is really after I came to the UK for my postgraduate degree course, which is not even a music one. I started to gain a new view of the old instruments of mine. I realized there is a lot of space to explore. On the one side, I'm working with the Confucius Institute to play the most traditional tune based on the training from the early years. On the other side, I'm trying to bring them into a wider setting of music and arts. I've played with rock bands, I've worked with contemporary composer, and I've played with quite a few experimental musicians and sound arts community. My current music practice exists both in recorded works and live performances, sometimes acoustic, but very often electroacoustic. So, electronics, effects, field recordings, together with a lot of improvisation and extended techniques are involved, which is really, really different from my training back 2 years ago. I don't know what's next, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot more to be explored. Pretty much, I believe the second question has been answered. The good side is that it is actually the right thing to do to be critical towards what the male practitioners are doing. Okay, I'm just joking. But I have to state this fact that I am a female musician who plays alternative instruments. That means non-mainstream. As coins got double sides, this fact has brought me advantage, as it distinguishes me from those white guys on guitar or modular synth, which makes me different and unique in a way, and it's forming my artistic identity. And as you know, like all the artists are trying to be innovative and trying to be different, so that's a good thing to have. At the same time, I'm also sometimes being tired of those labels. I'm not going deep into gender bias or colonialism, but just sometimes I just want things to be simpler, to return to the purest thing, that I am just an individual who is doing the things that I like, or I'm just a musician who plays an instrument that I know about. But with those outer layers, it's rather difficult to say the core thing or to return to the purest essence. I'd say this is neither the best or worst time to be in, and all the female musicians are actually working hard to make the situation better. I'm really having this recurring nightmare that keeps me frightened. So it is a dream where the situation is that every living creature in the world is actually connected together, which means it's actually connected with you. That might sound like an idea from Buddhism, that how everything actually unites into a oneness. I'll take an example to illustrate the situation. So if you are walking on the street, you encounter someone who is also walking on the same street. That someone might be you yourself in your afterlife. And you keep walking, you see a falling leaf from a tree, and that leaf might be you yourself in your before life. If you see what I mean. So basically, all the lives, all the living spirits, is actually a linear thing that folded in a multi-dimensional way to enable its different parts being able to spread across different time spaces. That might sound like the idea from the film Everything Everywhere All at Once. Okay, admittedly, I might be influenced by that one. But if you do look deeper into the idea, then it actually means ultimately you yourself is the only living thing that exists in the universe. Then that's not even 100 years of solitude. That's an abyss of solitude, which, I mean, I can't really bear with the idea. So I'd like to be buried with more books. I like reading and I really enjoy the process of doing it. But I'm rather a slow reader, and nowadays you know that people prefer a quicker way to gather information. So do I, and I don't typically have enough time to spend down to be spent on books, which is really a pity, as I really miss the old days where I have time to sit in the library for a whole afternoon for several consecutive weeks during the holiday. That was a lot of fun and a lot of tranquility. And I do believe that books can serve as a staircase towards a whole new unknown world. So that will leave a lot of space to be explored during the afterlife.